What's up, guys? It's your boy Fix It Daniel, and I got just a small quick fix for you. I'm going to redo another weed whacker. This time I perfected it a lot more better than I did the first time in my video, but this time I am going to show you how to another DIY a weed eater, and it's going to be really good, guys. Stay tuned. So, if you guys like this stuff, like always, please like and subscribe at the bottom. So, today we are doing a quick off the vlogging a weed eater. I'm DIYing a weed eater for a church member of mine. He needs a weed eater for his yard. He's got a really tiny yard, doesn't need anything fancy, just something to help edge his yard. So, just like always, like the last one, I found another weed eater that I found on the side of the road that works perfectly fine. It just needed a little spindle holder, but we redid that. So we're going to show you guys what it is. Let's get it. Okay, guys, so this is the weed eater that I found on the side of the road. It is an auto lite. I think it was it's this right here. It is an auto lite 15-inch automatic feeder. No bump required, but we're not worried about that because we are DIYing it. So I've already started taking it apart. Like I said, this was not part of me vlogging. I wasn't even planning on doing it, but I just went ahead and just rolled with it because it went out so smooth. So what we're going to do is we are going to replace the spindle. We already, like I said, we already got started, so this is a little bit of an off thing. So I got this. I had one of these. So I had an extra one. I used this on my other one, but this one I had an extra one. So we're going to use it on this thing. So I've already taken it off. Flip it over. So what we got here is the motor. So once you get the guard off, and then you get these little screws, and you get the cover off, and you have the spindle. And you just take a little flathead screwdriver. There's a little, if I can get in the light, there's a little notch right here on the back that you hold with your flathead, and then you take the spindle and you just spin it off. So this little shaft is too thin to use the equipment pieces for. It's way too thin. I mean, the kit comes with a bunch of stuff, but this is still too skinny. It works for it's supposed to be for gas weed eaters, but I DIY'd it to work on electric, and it works pretty good. I did it on my other one, and it works perfect. This one's going to be a little more different because I used metal straps on all sides to hold it down. This time I'm not using metal straps. We're going to do something a little more clean and a little more sleeker. So let me show you what I got. Like I said, I already started doing it, so it's pretty much done. So, so this is the spindle that came off that we just spun off. And this is the new piece. Right now, I got it squeezed together because I got some Gorilla Glue holding it in place. But when the Gorilla Glue dries and holds it nice and good, then we're going to stick some metal putty down that hole where that little where the piece is holding it. What that will do is it'll also be Gorilla Glued, but when I pack that putty metal down there, it's going to turn rock hard and that thing will never come off. So that's what I plan on doing with this thing. So that's what we're going to do. This thing's probably pretty much dry, so I'm just going to take it off. And let me see if I can do this one-handed. So we're going to take this off. And we're going to let that fall in my lap. Sit that down. And oh yeah, it's pretty dry. You can see so what I actually did. So here's what I actually can show you. So what I did was I flipped it over and I took a unibit and I wallowed the hole out. So as you see that little diamond piece, that is actually part of this right here. What it does is it gets spun on, and down in this hole there's a little actual like a screw that it actually spins it spins onto here to hold it in place. And then you use that flathead at the end of the motor to tighten it. So we can actually put this back on with it being tightened. So what I did was, the reason why I like doing these is because the problem is a lot of people hate running. So sometimes, like with the one I had where my weed whacker, you had to bump it. And every time you bumped it, it's fed out the line. And sometimes it gets stuck, you get caught up. But this one you don't have to. Because with this, you can take your lengths of however length you want it, and you got them on all three sides. And that way, when you run out of this, you just have to remake your length and then refeed it through the holes, and voila. Granted, yeah, it's a little more excessive because you have to keep on, changing them out, but you'll never have to worry about it ever getting caught, getting stuck, unspooled, anything. And that was the thing I hated, because these things suck. They get unspooled the inside here, and they get stuck around the thing, and you have to stop what you're doing. You get a few good weed whacks, and the thing just stops, and you have to take it apart, put it back together. Doing it this way, you'll never have to take it apart, because you got these three little prongs on all three sides. You just feed them through these two holes, as much length as you want, short, long, whatever you want, and they're never gonna get stuck. They're never gonna get binded up. They're never gonna have a problem. All you have to do is just change them when you're ready to do some more. So this is the way it works. But this works so good. This is actually a lot more cleaner than my last one. I just thought about it for a little bit, and it actually just worked. So like I said, I took a unibit, I walled it out a lot bigger enough, just enough to make it tight for this little piece to fit. And man, it is perfectly flat. It's touching the bottom. It's perfectly flat. There's plenty of room for the feed the lines through. It is completely perfect. So there's no screws, there's no straps, there's no nothing. This should not fall off. And then what we're going to do, let me set this down right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this quick steel epoxy putty. Let's get it into focus. Get it into focus. All right, this quick steel epoxy, and we're going to stick it down in this hole. We're going to take some pieces, we're going to rub them together, and then we're going to push it down nice and flat and push it up against this little sprocket piece and fill this hole up completely. That way, when it finishes and gets hardened, it'll be rock hard, and this thing will never come out. I got a Gorilla Glue at the bottom to hold it in place, and then once the Gorilla Glue dries nice and solid, then I'm gonna stick this epoxy putty stuff, this putty steel stuff down this hole, get it nice and packed, not up to here, but just in this little diamond, piece, and then that's what we're gonna do. So that's what we got so far. But right now we're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna hit the next day with it. All right, so it's the next day. We are going to try and finish doing this this weed eater. I already got it nice and dry, so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. All right, guys, so as you see, we got that already torn apart, but this is what we were waiting for. This is completely dry. Like I said, you can see down there, if I can get the light right, you see down there, it has Gorilla Glue down in there, but now it's nice and dry, it's nice and straight, it's perfect. So now what we're going to do, let me set my camera down. Let's get this angled right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get that that putty steel, and we're going to stick it right down in that hole. So we're going to use this. This is a quick steel putty. Once you take a little piece off and you rub it together, so you take it and you rub it together, it's going to start getting like kind of a gray. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick it nice and down in this crevice, get it nice and packed, let it dry for a couple hours, and when it dries, it'll be nice and hard, and that thing is not coming out. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Pull some of this off. I've already used some of this before. This is great stuff, guys. This is at you can get this at pretty much any hardware store or auto store, and you just break a little piece off. And as you can see, some of it's already been dried, and but that's fine because there's just a little more air exposed to it. Not a big deal. So we just break off that little piece and get down to the good parts of it. So break that off. Break this off. And now we'll just take it. We'll just roll it around. As you see, it's starting to get kind of a light gray and then a dark gray. You want it to be the dark gray. So you see how it's like little light pieces and little dark pieces. You want it to be the dark pieces. So it's kind of like think of it as a bonding for like when you're doing body filler. So you have the body filler and you have that little red stuff that mixes in as a hardener. Kind of like the same process. You got to mix it together until it gets it all going. But then once you get it mixed, you need to hurry and put it on there because it'll start drying really fast, really quick, and then it'll be rock hard, and then you won't be able to do anything with it, and you'll have to get another piece. So we're going to take a little small piece of this, try to get this as great as I possibly can, and get this nice and tightly packed. Let's pull off a little piece. So we're going to pull off a little piece and just push it down. If I can get it down in there. I may have to get a little prier tool. Something flat like this. So he's going to get a prier tool and just kind of push it down. We want to get it all over nice and flat. The reason why is because you want it to stick all the way around the piece that you're trying to do. So just get that down in there. Use this tool. Just kind of press it together. You want it nice and packed. I want to press it because if I can get it nice and fused and pressed together, then it'll actually hold when it hardens and then it'll never come off. But you got to make sure it's nicely tightly packed in there. So it doesn't matter if you cover the hole, no big deal. But as long as you get it pressed down in the area that you want it, close those seams, get it nice and tightly packed, just like that. I'll cover it, enough to cover the hole so nothing falls down in there. Don't want to push too hard because then it'll actually fall apart. And we'll just get some more, just a little bit, just a little tiny piece more, just to make sure everything is nice and filled out. So this is good stuff, guys. If you've never used this before, if you need for something to hold together really well in case like this is perfect. I've used it on other things. I've actually used it to seal up a radiator problem. Granted, it's good for like a temporary fix. Sometimes it's actually permanent. You actually could do it for a permanent fix, and it would actually probably hold. But most of the time, over time with the heat, building and pressure and, heat expanding, contracting, if it's not exactly a good seal, then it could sometimes leak. Maybe not right away, but eventually over time, it'll actually break through. I've actually had that happen on a few vehicles that I've done it on, where it held for a while, but eventually it did finally just give it out. So sometimes it's good for a temporary fix. If you're on the side of the road and you got this in your little travel toolbox, it'll get you where you need to get to, but you won't have to get it fixed. So that's it. Nicely tightly packed in there. We might even paint it black just to hide it a little bit. Once it dries, we'll see how good it holds. And then that's it, guys. So this looks really good. Looks really good, nicely tightly packed down in there. And then what we'll do, we'll let that sit for a couple hours, and then we will come back and check. All right, guys, so we're back. It's been about a couple of hours, and I went to go check this, and this thing is solid. I'm talking rock hard solid. I mean, it is nice and perfect. It's hard as a rock. This thing is not going anywhere now. It's perfect. And the reason why I like it is because the previous one I did had straps going on top, bolts, screws, all this craziness, and this looks so super clean, like it was actually built for this particular weed whacker. And it's actually really good. I'm actually really happy that it came out so clean and sleek the way it is. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to go ahead and reassemble this whole entire weed whacker. And I think once we finish, we're going to take some black paint or use this high temperature paint. It's just to cover that up so it looks all nice and like it's supposed to be there, instead of this gray. So I got some paint, some like little modeling paint. You just cover that up, or I could just take just one squirt and spray and then let it dry, and then it should be good to go. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, I think we're just gonna spray it. I think we just take some spray and just spray it right in there. It should be fine. Just a couple of spray squirts. Yeah, we'll let that dry. Let that dry a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and get that going. A little excess in there. Should be fine. It should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this thing. See if we got the room to do this. Okay. So now I'm gonna put this back on. Let's put this back in the hole here. It's the spring for the actual thing. And we're going to take our flathead screwdriver before I forget. This thing just simply twist. Let's see if we get that going there. Just twist on there. I'm going to hold it on the back end here and just slide this over real quick. Let it do its thing. Nice and tight. All right. Man, that looks so good. That looks so good. Let's see how it free spins. Wow, that is awesome. That's so good. All right. So now we're just going to commence on putting the cover back on. Let's see, we're going to put it on just like this. Make sure it goes in the right way. Make sure all the pieces are lined. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Just like that. We got the screws. Alright. I'm just going to take them, and put the screws back on. So we're going to do that. Got a long one here. Let's see, get this on here. That on there. All right, got them all on there. Man, guys, this list looks so good. Let me turn this up just a little so you can see it. That's perfectly balanced, guys. It's so sick. And then the last and final piece. Okay, we're back. You just had to squeeze it. I had to squeeze this on here. It was a little harder than I thought, but get this out the way. Just had to squeeze that on there. No big deal. All right, so let's raise this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. All right, so now we just got to put this shield on. And it's simply just twist on. It's got a little locking piece here. So let's get this on here. Yep, just like that. Then we got these little pieces here. So, here, turn this up real quick. Got this last little bolt here. This last little bolt that holds this this dust plate on. Ever so. Just like that, guys. Nice and done. Ready to rock and roll. So all I gotta do now is just plug it up and then see if it works. So let's take it outside. Alright guys, so we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna walk over to the shed, see what we can do. Alright. So plug this up. Plug this up. We're gonna plug this in. This one handed. Hold on a sec. Alright. We got it all nice and plugged up. Moment of truth. Oh man, that is super awesome. You guys gotta check this out. Let's see if I can hold this and see if I can hold this at the same time. Check this guy's out. It works so good. Gosh, Lee, it works so good, guys. No, and then the cool part is there's no unbalance. There's no unbalancing. There's no nothing. Like it's perfectly good. It's perfectly symmetric. It's balanced perfect. This thing is amazing. Oh, let's get this inside. It's so perfect, guys. So super perfect. Let's lay this down. Man, this works so perfect, guys. It's perfectly balanced, clean. Got this off the street. All I had to do is just refix this. It had missing this cap. Works perfectly. It's perfectly balanced, ready to rock and roll. And guys, that's so sick. Well, that's it, guys. That's a wrap. I know it's kind of a short tutorial. I know I used to do long ones, but I really had not even planned on doing this weed whacker. But guys, I had to. It was just came out so good. And I'm sure my church member that needs this is gonna really enjoy it. He doesn't pay any money for it. I fixed it up for him, so he should be very happy with it. All he's gotta do is just get some line, power cable. That's it. Guys, if you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe at the bottom. But until the next fix, I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, Godspeed.